About yesterday is that we already know this is old news that you learn from mistakes. But what might be some new information to you is that you really learn from other people's mistakes just as well. A lot of research shows. That's why teachers that's why you notice when I'm giving notes and stuff, I'm always like, hey, don't make this mistake, because I've seen the same mistakes like over and over and over again. So I kind of learn the right thing to do by looking at the wrong stuff. And then what's kind of nice about grading somebody else's work is not only do you get to learn from that mistake, but it's not quite as stressful as your own mistake, right? So it's kind of a two-for-one situation here. So most of us got through the first page. I want to turn your attention to page 2, to the one that's really been giving people fits, and I get why. I would say this is probably the most challenging one on here, for sure. Yes, sir. Okay. Coach, can you give Hunter 1, 2, please? Thank you. All right, so this is probably the one that's really been bothering everybody the most, and I get it. For starters, we made a mistake to start it, but then the kid just kind of gave up and just kind of quit doing it too. So there's a lot to be fixed here. This is honestly kind of similar to some that I see sometimes. We get to a certain point, and then we're not sure what to do. So to start off, I looked over here on, remember, step 1 is to highlight any mistakes. If I were your teacher, if I were the person in your shoes right now grading this, here's where our issue is. Because look, what this kid did is this kid tried to start canceling. I get it. They were trying to cancel out the +5 with a -5, but that -6 and that 5, are they on the same side of the equal sign or the opposite sides of the equal sign? They're on the same side. So you don't cancel things out when they're sitting on the same side. In fact, what this kiddo did is they put -5 on the same side twice. So that's not going to get you to the result that you want. What should they do when they're on the same side of the equal sign? Yes, sir? Exactly. So if I were the teacher, and this is what I would like you to write too if you don't already have something similar, although I think a lot of you guys probably do. So highlight, use a highlighter to highlight that mistake. Okay, there's your mistake, is that you tried to cancel, and just write them a little note. This is exactly what I do. Same side of the equal sign. You're just going to, I'll take what Hunter said, you're just going to add them together. If you have like terms that are on the same side, you can't just start canceling them out. You simply put them together. So then the correct solution, part 3, this is exactly what I do for you guys when I'm scoring your stuff. You'll see I show you the version of it worked out correctly. So that's what we're going to do next. So I'm going to follow Hunter's advice. I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to put those together first. So if I get, just put in your calculator. There's nothing you really even need to do. -6 plus 5 is going to give you a -1. If I combine those, I'm going to bring down everything else. Okay? I had to put a minus in front of that 1 because it was a -1. So now I'm kind of where this kid kind of sat here and was like, oh, I'm not sure what to do next. Okay? We got a little bit confused. I'm going to do this. But I wrote it in red. I know you guys obviously know that's incorrect. What I'm more worried about is what if you can tell me why that is incorrect. Yes, sir, go for it. Love it. They're on opposite sides of the equal sign. You cannot combine them if they're not on the same side. So this kid kind of did the opposite in reverse. So we can't put those together. Instead, we're going to have to cancel. Now, it technically doesn't matter which one you cancel. Here's what I saw some of you guys doing yesterday, which isn't wrong. It's just not necessarily going to get you to the place that you want to be as fast. If you get rid of that -3x, you're going to leave it so that you have nothing on that side of the equal sign, but you still got a number and a variable over here. So even though there's not anything technically wrong with doing -3x, and 3x is smaller than 4x, so I get why you might want to cancel that one out, just because getting rid of that leaves nothing over there, go ahead and just do minus 4x instead. Because that way, and I'm going to scooch this up so I'm giving myself a little bit more room here. Ooh, I love that question. That's a great question. Because if I divide by 4x, so 4 divided by 4 is 1, right? And x divided by x is 1. So they cancel each other out, but you still have a 1 there. That's actually a great question, sorry. And so then if you divide this side by 4x, it's going to cancel. If you do it over there, you got to do it over there. So both ways, you've like canceled out the x. So instead of dividing, because you still leave something behind, you want nothing left behind. So that is an excellent question. And that is why we're going to do minus 4x, because that takes everything away and takes it off there. We all know how equations work, though. If we subtract on one side, we got to subtract on the other side. Careful to make sure you subtract an x from an x, because you have to have like terms. So 3x, take away 4x. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. And there's an x with that. Then I'm going to bring, I should have put those together already. My bad. I don't know why I didn't put those together. I should have. That should be a minus 1. Okay, so I've got negative x is equal to negative 1. And then how am I going to cancel out that negative 1? The negative 1 sitting there means multiplication. How am I going to cancel out that multiplication? By division. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 1. So x is equal to a positive 1. I know I kind of spilled out there into the next problem. Sorry about that, guys. So step 1, find the kid's mistake. If you can't find the mistake, let us know, okay? We can help you with that. Step 2, just write them a little note. Hey, this is what you did wrong. Exactly like I do on your quizzes when I write you just a little note. Not asking you to write a novel, not asking you to write a paragraph. Just give the kid a little description. Here's what we did wrong. And then finally, here's how you should have solved it correctly. So the goal is to get the rest of these error analyses finished today. If you get done early, again, we've got mappers that we can do. And some of us need to do a couple of assignments to make up quiz corrections. So you could do that too. Just check in with me when you get done. And we'll be circulating and kind of spot checking and make sure you got the right thing. Anybody got any questions for the good of the group?